We'd do anything for the people we love.
Thanks, Dad.
That's why I chose over 50 life insurance from Royal London.
The money left behind can be used as a gift.
Or to help pay for a funeral.
Thanks, Mum. We simply make affordable monthly payments.
At Royal London, anyone aged 50 to 80 is guaranteed acceptance with no medical questions. Buy over 50 life insurance today, and if you pay £7 a month or more, you'll get a £115 welcome gift. Offer ends the 31st of March.
Royal London.
Cheers, girls.
Hello, my darlings. Wednesday
darling.
wisdom is upon us.
It is. And you know something very wise of a certain swan called Cedric in Northamptonshire. Apparently has been knocking on people's doors. I mean,
yeah, that's
for
not
real.
true, Dave. That can't
For
be
real.
true.
It is.
You mean
I
with
promise
his beak
you.
here? With his
He
beak?
hasn't got any hands
With his
or
beak.
anything.
He's quite determined to get in the doors. So, you know, the neighbours don't know what to do. He's quite loud as well. And
I
you know,
love swans.
I do, because they make for life, you know.
Yeah, they do.
Unlike
Yeah.
human beings, darling.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite.
I want to tell you what happened to me when I was a little girl. I was attacked by a swan.
What did
I
you say
was-
to it? What did
I
you
was-
say to it, darling?
I was with my daddy, and I was probably about 2.5, and we were
Two?
feeding the ducks. And my daddy wasn't very well, so I was able to pull him, you know, big man, be able to pull him. And I fell into the water. And then my dad went to get me out, and this swan just came over. And I'll never forget the you know, can you imagine the size it felt to me as a tiny little girl, and the great when he went like that. I've never forgotten that. Really, really was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. So I must have fallen near his nest or near his mate or something for him to come for me like that. But,
Yes, darling.
my dad,
Yeah,
Terrifying.
well, it was threatened, that was all, because of
Yes,
its baby.
exactly.
But I have to tell you that I have a drooping hydrangea,
yeah,
and
well,
I'm not
Jesus
quite
Christ.
sure what to do about it. It's not a euphemism, no.
Water it, dear. Water it.
No, it's wet, very wet.
Oh, it is a wet drooping hydrangea. You didn't give us that clarity. I'm so sorry.
It's a wet, drooping hydrangea. It's here with me, and I'm not sure why it's drooping. I can't. Somebody could somebody please ring in and tell
Darling,
Yeah.
do you
me?
drink alcohol,
is that it,
darling?
Sherry? Is that it?
Hydrangea.
This is
Viagra,
it.
darling.
Yes, look, it's good. Look,
Probably had
Look.
enough.
it's
Yeah.
look at it. Look.
Darling, please
Oh.
don't wave your hydrangea at the camera.
Perhaps,
Maybe just-
Sherry, perhaps you've given it too much water, do you think?
No, I haven't. That's exactly what I haven't done. Its bottom is very wet, and I'm just wondering.
Okay, matron, actually,
Very wet. What?
Listen,
bottom?
I've now
All
got a
wet,
bell.
wet bottoms.
I've now got a bell to stop.
Yes, I think we
Stop you.
should stop.
When we're talking
We
about
should
wet
stop.
bottoms.
Because
Saved by the bell.
Yes.
Yes.
saved by the bell. I think because I'm not very good with houseplants, but I can with some of them. I'm very good with orchids because they don't need very much water. You see, you kind of just
No.
leave them and they look
Yes.
after themselves.
Yeah.
But with these sort of plants, I always just tend to water them. And if he's got a wet bottom, he might be just too wet, Sherry. Perhaps he doesn't like where he's sitting.
I get very upset with plants. I love my plants, you see, and I get very upset if they droop.
Please, can we move on?
Yeah. Anyway, today we have a birthday boy flying into our nest. It's Andrew Barton's birthday, and he's going to share it with us. It's a shame we don't have any virtual cake. But Andrew, welcome to our nest and happy birthday.
Happy
birthday to you.
Birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andrew. I apologise for the singing.
Oh, that was lovely. What a lovely.
What's it like being 30, Andrew?
30. I wouldn't know. I'm not there yet, Sherry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my
How
God.
harsh.
I'm really
How harsh.
embarrassing. Sorry.
54 today. 54
54. You
today.
don't look 54, look.
The key to the door.
Wow. You're looking
That's
good on it.
amazing.
Thank you very
Look
much.
it, darling.
Thank you guys. You all look gorgeous today.
What
Thank you.
what are you treating us with today, Andrew, on your birthday? What are you doing for us today?
Let me tell you two things. Do you know what I'm treating myself to on my birthday? I'm getting the jab. I am.
Yay!
Great.
Yes. But today's show, I'm talking about hair, obviously. And we posing the question to grey or not to grey.
Mhm.
It's a
You have your answer here, darling.
No way.
over to the
No
colour
way,
side.
Jose.
Yes. So it's a hot debate, and lots of people have different feelings about it. And one of my thoughts as a hairdresser is grey or white hair can look fantastic on some women, but it tends to be women that are genetically blessed with
What do you mean?
eyes, beautiful skin, and
what are you trying to say, Andrew? Oh my God.
What I'm trying to say is, for most women, when they go grey, they end up with coarser, wiry hair, linked and next to their soft, natural hair, which makes a dual texture, which is often difficult to manage and control and to style. And very few women get a coordinated greying effect. They usually end up with a badger effect of darker patches and lighter patches, white patches and darker patches.
Yeah, very white.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if a woman tends to go completely silver white, then it can look fantastic, but that's not the experience that most women have.
Andrew, can you explain to me something I've always wanted to know is, obviously when the hair goes grey, it's because of the lack of pigment, but why does it go coarse and why does it change the texture of the hair?
Because also the pigment creates part of the moisturization to the hair.
Dries out.
It dries out, everything's dried out, the skin's drying out and the hair texture is dried. So we get this dual texture, and you're absolutely right, Debbie. It is the fact that the melanin, which is the pigment that produces hair color, stops working, often kind of for a woman in her 30s or 40s and later than that as well. And it can be linked to hormones. It can also be linked to stress, but generally the greying effect is really genetic more often than not. And for most people, they either follow their father's genes or their mother's genes, or it could be a generation before that, grandparents even.
Right.
So there is many reasons and factors for why people go grey, but there is no such thing as grey hair. There is only white hair.
Yeah.
And the white hairs next to the natural hair colours give this grey effect. So what I thought, go on, Sherry.
So why is it that parts of your body go white as well, the other bit down below, but on your chin you get black hairs coming through as whiskers?
That is true, but regarding the under question, I'm not
the undercarriage
on that. Yes, but on my chin, I get both. I get dark hairs and I get white hairs as well. So if you let them grow, Sherry, you might find you get the same result.
This is a weird one as well. So for many years, I always used to have a tint put on my hair, and I used to have very blonde highlights. Now you would have thought, as my hair is going grey, that I wouldn't need the highlights anymore, but I still do. Why?
Well, because the highlight tends to be a prettier colour. It's a softer colour. It's a blonder tone rather than the white, the grey.
Dirty colour.
Well,
but it's white. The white is white. My white is very white.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's still dirty. Still dirty.
Andrew, Barty,
yes.
I've just seen a photograph the other day of Jane Fonda, and she's actually embracing the whole sort of going white.
Yes.
Well, do you think she's had stuff done, or is it her natural thing, do you think?
Definitely had stuff done, darling. Yeah, she's definitely had stuff done. But I think, what there is for a lot of people who are thinking about moving to the grey side, there are ways in which you can transition to that, like Fonda has. So what Jane Fonda will have done, the hairdresser will have bleached the hair, so it's a tonal kind of, it's all one colour.
Ah.
Then it would have been toned with a toner to give that grey effect. And that's
and then she'd have had colours put through, won't she, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
see.
the thing. You can go grey via the salon for the hairdresser to do it for you, but it involves this transition of bleaching the hair.
Yeah.
So it's one colour all over that's light, and then we put a toner over it to give it the grey tones that we want to achieve. They're quite temporary. So what will happen, you have to revisit the salon every few weeks to have that toner topped up. However, in my usual advice exclusively for Wonderbirds, I've also got a couple of products to show to you as well.
Oh,
So
exciting.
this is by a hairdresser, a famous hairdresser called Josh Wood.
Yeah.
Right.
And he creates fantastic products. And this is a treatment mask, which is a semi-permanent toning colour as well. So a multifunctional product that does two things. It lasts up to about 10 washes, and it's got silver pigment in it. So what it actually does, it gets rid of those unwanted yellow tones.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you mentioned earlier the word dirty, but often it's grey hair tends to look quite dull.
Yeah.
It gets this yellow tone around the front. And also where a lot of women experience, if they've got longer hair around their face and it's grey and it slips onto the skin quite often, your foundation and your makeup will start staining your hair as well.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yes, yes.
So products
Yeah.
like this one by Josh Wood is brilliant. This is about £15 and you can get it at joshwoodcolour.com.
Right.
Right.
This is one that we use in my salon in Headmasters in Mayfair, which we're less than 3 weeks away from opening now.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Yes, you're all coming.
Yes.
We are.
Forget the others. I'm coming.
And this is called Seri Expert. And what I love about this is it's got violet tones in it. That does it's the opposite of Sherry's yellow top today. So on the colour spectrum, on the colour wheel, violet is the opposite of yellow. So it neutralizes any unwanted yellow tones that you get on white, silver, grey hair.
What make is that, Andrew?
This is by L'Oreal Professional and it's called Seri Expert.
I think I've seen that. I think you've told me about that. And the other thing is with blonde hair, what I call, you get dirty blonde. Your hair becomes dirty blonde and you have to have what I call the whites put back in to lift the blonde back up, don't you?
Absolutely. And, you know, the hair, when it's lightened, it's at the mercy of everything around it. So pollution, kind of being out and about. So these products, as well as being great for silver grey hair, are absolutely fantastic to be used as part of an hair care regime for blonding.
I remember when I was a little girl that a lot of ladies had a kind of violet, gentle, violet-coloured grey hair. It was the thing, wasn't it? That blue hair.
That's why they called it the Blue Rinse Brigade, wasn't it?
That's right, darling. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, darling. I'm never going to have one of those, but I can't wait to see you. And happy birthday!
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday!
Thank you so much. I'll be back in 2 weeks talking about in-salon hair treatments.
Okay.
Boom.
Yay. Thanks, Barty. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm never going grey.
Oh,
thank goodness for that. But now,
Yes.
more importantly in my life, I'm going to bring in one of my bestest, oldest friends of all time, the very gorgeous Les Dennis.
Oh, how lovely. Lovely to see you all. I feel like I've known you all a very long time, but not quite as long as I've known Sherry Houston.
No.
I don't know.
She is much older, darling.
Could
She
you
is
have
much
known
older.
longer, Les? Could you have?
Well, I was working this out, Debbie. I think we met in Twickenham, didn't we, when we lived near each other first of all. And I met Sherry when we did Russ Abbott Madhouse in 1982.
So what year was that?
So I think I met you about 1984. Yeah.
So you met me in 1980.
Oh gosh,
Not
did
that
I?
Not this is
There
a
you go.
competition or anything.
Where was this?
Anyway.
Where was this?
So when I was married to John Challis, I used to live in Twickenham, and Les used to live around the corner, and we used to go to a restaurant called, was it Orpheus?
It was Orpheus, but I didn't move there till 1984.
No, it's 84.
So you're going back 4 years.
So but hang on a minute, wait a minute.
Detectives.
Wait a minute, not finished yet. But did you do Who Do You Do with me?
I did Who Do You Do in 1976, so we probably cross paths then. You're
Yes,
you're absolutely
and of course
right.
I knew Justin, who was a friend of my mum's as well. So
Yeah.
I think I've known you longer than Sherry. I'm sorry about that.
No, I knew Justin.
Harry's got the bell out.
Justin long before you did.
Stop, girls. It's not a competition. Okay, moving on. Sherry, do you have another question for him, please?
Yes, now listen, how have you been since we last saw you? What have you been doing?
Well, what have I been doing? Well, I didn't have a bad year last year. I know kind of for all of us, it was an awful year, but work-wise, I was very lucky. I got to do one of Jimmy McGovern's Moving On that went out the other week. I did a show for Channel 5, which goes out in May, called 5 Go Fishing. There were actually 6 of us. There was myself, Ian Botham did the first week, Shane Lynch did the second, and also we had Rosemary Schrager, Fern Britton, and one other, me. No, must have been one. Lovely Linford Christie. Yeah, so we had a great time. We went round Scotland fishing, and then I was lucky enough to go to Plymouth for pantomime, and we were the only pantomime that lasted. There were 10. Kudos put 10 pantomimes across the UK, and most of them, including the Palladium, closed within days. And we, because we were in tier 2 in Plymouth, lasted until the 30th of December. We were due to finish on the 2nd, and we had a fantastic time. And I have to say that, you know, I mean, a lot of people are saying, what will it be like when we get back into theatres? We got a taster of it, because basically it was socially distanced on stage. Only one costume per character, which was a result when you're playing Dame.
Yeah.
You have to wear one costume. And it was one act, 1 hour, 15 minutes, no interval. But the audience were socially distanced, wearing masks, not allowed to do all that he's behind you and shout outs, because they would have been spreading things.
Yeah.
So we did panto without all the usual elements of pantomime. And I have to say, audiences are so looking forward to getting back. Every night, the ovation at the end from them, and then from us to them, for them to be courageous enough to come out, was amazing and really touching.
And we need all that courage now. In this
really
coming
do.
year. Can I just kind of flip back to, sorry, did you say 5 Go Fishing?
5 Go Fishing. Yeah.
I can't see you fish.
I'd never fished, but most of them hadn't. I think Rosemary had fished before, and
she's fished everything. Yes.
Ian Botham is a master fisher. So Ian was, he was he was the only one that really caught. But I have to say, hardly any of us caught anything. But then it is a much more elusive sport than people think. You know, the Gillies were saying to us that, like, when we were salmon fishing, he said, don't expect to catch anything. It's the fish of 1,000 casts. And if you, and then they also said, it's called fishing, not catching. So, literally though, I have to say that I loved it. And for one day in the pouring rain, I was so hooked, forgive the pun, that I was casting and casting for 3.5 hours in the pouring rain without a tea break or anything. I just was like, I'm going to catch something. And I didn't get disappointed. I just got absolutely mesmerized by the river, by even in the rain, the beauty of being outdoors and focusing on something away from the world we were living in.
Very therapeutic, I'm assuming.
Very.
And also, I must tell you, Les, somebody said to me the other day, why has the Russ Abbott Madhouse, which we did for 34 years together, why has it never been repeated? Now, I don't know. We don't know, do we?
I don't know at all. No, I mean, I know that people are putting it up on YouTube, and it's getting lots of views on there. Some of the sketches, I'm so pleased, because I put everything on VHS, but I haven't updated it, and they're all in the loft on VHS. So when I see things from that show, I love seeing them. And the snooker sketch that Russ and I gets lots of views. And the Mastermind one we did with him, I did the Magnus Magnuson with him, and he's answering, no, in a weird way to everything,
Yeah.
And it got so many views, and all those sketches. Gosh, Sherry, we played everything, didn't we? From the juvenile kind of love interest, and then we played all the characters in the Basildon Bonds and the.
But the best
one,
best for me were our dance routines. Vince Prince and the Tone Deafs.
Yes.
There was you and I you and I were the only two that actually couldn't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't put one foot in front of another at the beginning.
Were so rubbish.
Lovely Bruce McClure, who was the
and what did he used to say? In the ways and out the ways.
And out the ways.
You're so diverse in what you've done. I wanted to talk to you about musical theatre.
Yes.
And all the wonderful musicals that you've done. Tell me about those. What was it like to suddenly, even though you're not, even though you're able to do so many different things. Yeah, no, you are.
Yeah,
even though you're not trained at all.
Well, I always, because I always had my eye on doing other things all the way through. I started doing the working men's clubs, but even at that time, I was going to a singing teacher in Liverpool called Ernest Watkins. He was a pianist with the Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, and I was getting singing lessons then. And so over the years, I've had a lovely singing teacher, Janet Edwards, and then I got the opportunity to do Me and My Girl, to play that role that Robert Lindsay had played. I'd been to see it with Robert Lindsay and Emma Thompson in it, sat in the audience and thought, I really want to do that. So when I got to do it 10 years later, at the end of its run, I closed it.
Don't say that bit, darling. Don't say that bit.
I was there for a year.
I
was there for a year, but no, to be truthful, Andrew Lloyd Webber had decided that he was taking the theatre over to take in, what's the big Sunset Boulevard. So, and he came and measured up during an understudy run one day. So that gave us a hint.
No pressure.
No pressure.
What other musicals have you done, darling? What other ones have you done?
I've done Chicago, playing the wonderful Amos Hart, Mr. Cellophane. I've done Legally Blonde, playing the Professor. South Pacific, I got to do with amazing Alan Opie, massive opera singers, and we did it at the Birmingham Symphonia. And I will be doing, I can't tell you what it is yet because we haven't announced it, but I will be doing musical theatre that will take me in a totally different direction in the West End in the autumn, and I'm really excited.
So I just need to ask you, I know you can't tell us, darling, I know you can't tell us, but no skates are involved, are they? I just want to check you.
No skates are involved.
And darling, also no barricades.
Very little dancing, no barricades.
But and no lycra. I'm just praying there's no lycra, darling.
It's a new production. It's an absolutely new production. So whether the director decides to go the lycra way, it's not about cycling. So I'm certainly not a mammal, a middle-aged man in lycra, although middle-age is stretching.
Well, darling, let me just say the words, Mamma Mia, darling, there's no escape in Mamma Mia, but if you're not doing lycra, you're safe. So that's all I need to know. Fantastic, exciting news.
I've been so lucky with musical theatre, and have to say this job that I'm going to do later in the year, it's the first time I've ever gone into a room for an audition and been offered the job there and then. And I was stunned and
true.
So excited, and I am
tell
so
us what
thrilled about
it is.
Can't tell you.
We're dying to know. Oh, Les, I have to tell you.
Yes.
I know you mentioned cycling just now, but you're really good at recycling, aren't you? Because you recycle your fingernails, not fingernails, but toothpicks.
Well, you got this from Would I Lie to You? And I don't know where the researcher found that out. And when it came up, I thought, oh no, I keep my fingernails and save them for later. And they said, what for? And I said, well, if I've had a sandwich and I just feel like, I need a little. But listen, what I don't get is, look,
do you keep them in your pocket, darling? Where do you keep them?
In a little side pocket, I will keep them, and I keep them clean. And I just, sometimes a toothpick won't do it. Sometimes floss won't do it. And the thing is, you do that with your fingernail all the time. So if you take it off, what's wrong?
Makes sense.
It got such an awful reaction and awful groans, and then on social media, people saying, "You use your toenails?" No, not my toenails.
I checked that one.
So I've stopped doing it now.
That is fantastic.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I think you should patent it.
I think Parker probably did that, my lady.
Yes. That's right, yes. I don't think Lady P would.
No, I don't think Lady P would have done. But
Parker probably did use his toenails anyway. He probably used his used his toenails while they were still on his feet.
Yeah, and while he was taking the tray of tea in.
Yeah.
That was a sketch.
Exactly.
That I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. But that was a sketch I loved doing. We did it on the Laughter Show, myself and Lisa Maxwell, where we played Parker and Lady Penelope and all the crew of Thunderbirds. That was great to do.
Brilliant. I know you did a mean Parker.
Thank you.
Well, I did the Laughter Show. The weird thing was, I remember doing the Laughter Show with you guys, and I was dressed as some sort of, I've still got some photographs, as this sort of like medieval princess. But the weird thing was that John and I had divorced and we were cast together.
You were both there. It was a thing called Quest for the Key. Written by Barry Cryer and Neil Shand, and it was one of those like the two Ronnies used to do one of those big serials in the middle of their show. We got the chance, and you wouldn't get it now because we filmed for 3 weeks this serial, and it was set up in Lancaster, I think, near beautiful locations. It was a medieval thing about a knight and his squire searching for the key. And Susie Blake played the lazy lady. It was the key to her chastity belt. We wouldn't get away with that now either. But we were trying to find it, and we went on this long quest for the key. And you of course were there that day. You and John. That was a strange day, wasn't it? Because I don't think either of you knew that you'd been cast. Did you know?
No.
Yeah, that was.
And we just got divorced, and then we went boom, and we went. Hello.
Hello. That's the way this business works, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the way this business works.
And
you were great.
And we were such good friends. Then we went for dinner that night, and I spent the whole night crying.
Oh,
I did. I just sobbed for that. He went, "Oh God, stop crying." I said, "No, it's just because we."
I remember John having a joke in that thing where he was a policeman who stopped us for speeding. You know, like the horse and with the squire, and he was on his horse and he stopped us for speeding, and he said, "I'd like you to accompany me to the station." So Dustin got out his trumpet and we accompanied him on the trumpet to the station. Old jokes, but they worked so well. And I looked at some of those again. You can find those on YouTube. The Quest for the Key. What's it called?
They're very funny. What's it called? The Quest for the Key.
Quest for the Key.
Quest for the Key.
It was so much fun. We were all staying in Blackpool. We were all staying at what hotel was it?
It was right on the front, wasn't it? It was right at the top of the pier. It was. I don't think it was as nice as the Imperial. It was. I think it was the Metropole.
Yeah.
Oh, the Metropole. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And literally, Dustin and I were doing twice nightly at the North Pier. So we would do. We'd get up at 6 a.m, travel to Lancaster, film that all day. Then we'd get driven back to the pier, and we'd get the North Pier is a long pier. They'd put us onto a little trailer, and the trailer would take us down to the theatre, and then we'd get in the shower, get ready, and walk on for 2 shows, and then do that again the next day.
Wow.
Crazy times, crazy.
Wow.
Those were the days.
We loved working that hard. We just loved it. Now I want to talk to you about lockdown hair, because we do meet occasionally at the hairdressers.
Yes.
When we're allowed.
Yeah, with lovely Lino. Yeah.
How is your hair looking, Les?
Well, basically, it's looking like this, and that's just I just got the clippers out and did a number 4 on it because I got fed up with it, and until a week ago I had a full beard because I just thought I'd have a lockdown beard, and then I was trimming it and I made the mistake of putting it on too lower a trim, and so I had to shave it off. But I quite enjoyed having the beard. It changed the image a bit.
What do your children think of you as with a beard?
They didn't mind. I think they got used to it and just said, "Yeah, it's all right." Just kind of like, yeah.
What children have you got now, Les?
27.
Oh, you have, yeah.
That you know about.
Yeah. No, I've got Philip, who's 41. I've got Eleanor,
Philip
who's
is 41.
41. I know.
That can't be.
Eleanor, who's about to be 13, and Tom was about to be 10. So no fighting over toys.
Little Philip. Oh,
yeah, I know, little Philip.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Tom is very like him, and look, and they get on great. That's what's great. they over lockdown, Philip's down south with his mum in Amersham, and Philip and Tom have been playing on the what is it, the iBox or whatever the Xbox, the Xbox,
the X Factor,
iPad, darling, Xbox.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
whatever they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's so lovely having you on the show. Honestly, we're so lucky to have worked with you and had all those memories for so many years.
And
I bet you really miss Dustin still, don't you?
Oh gosh, I mean, Dustin, it was 35 years this last year. And I was just so moved by the tributes when I posted some stuff, and how amazing he was, and people still remember him. And well, Sherry, you know what he was like. He was just, and of course, and Debbie, you do, because those lovely nights in the Orpheus restaurant. Yeah. He just was the most lovely, gregarious, funny, and talented man. And I was asked recently, who was the funniest man you ever met, and I said Dustin, because he definitely
without doubt. Yeah.
Can I just say something, Dee? We won't tell the other girls that we were all at nursery school with Les, okay? Because they'll just be upset. So don't tell them. Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. You can both go further back. Yeah.
Yes, we can. So don't tell them.
Les, what is? Are you? I mean, apart from this fantastic thing that you've got coming out, what was the play that I was telling you at the Chocolate Factory?
I did the Chocolate Factory. I did two things there. I did Murderer. That was amazing, kind of Anthony Schaffer play. That was the one he did, Sleuth, and this was his other play, and it was about a guy. In the first 20 minutes, I kill a woman who's sitting as a supposedly as my muse as an artist, and she's sitting and I'm painting her, and she's drugged, and then I kill her, or rather I take her upstairs, put her in the bath, and kind of dismember her in the first 20 minutes and put her into the freezer, into the Arga, without any speech. And that was like an amazing piece to do. And then the policeman knocks on the door, and you've got to work out whether it's really happened or not. It was a really interesting thriller. And then I also, a few years ago, did a wonderful production of She Loves Me.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's what I saw you.
That's a fantastic show. I did that with lovely I'm having a senior moment. Well, one of Bonnie's sisters, Scarlett Strallen. Scarlett Strallen.
Brilliant. Yeah. It was brilliant. Yeah. It was brilliant. Yeah. It was absolutely one of my
favorite productions of anything. When you're in London, you're never more than 10 feet away from a Strallen.
That's right. Thank you so much, darling.
That's so true.
Oh, that's gone so quickly. Is that it?
I know. And we'll come and see you in this thing that you won't tell us about.
We will.
Yeah. Well, I told you. I have told you, so you can tell the girls later.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yes, you see, I'm lying to the girls. And we've got a live show on the 28th of June, Les, which we'd like you to come to as well. But we'll tell you all about that.
Yeah,
and I can properly tell you about it then. All right.
Thank you, darling.
Lovely.
Thank you,
Lovely
darling.
to see you all.
Take
see
care.
You soon.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Love him.
Lovely.
Wonderful man.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see his new musical.
I know. We'll be there.
What's happening Friday, girls?
Sherry knows.
She always knows, darling. She always knows. What is happening Friday, girls?
Well, it's the Brain Tumour Charity Month. And it's the whole of March. So they're doing things through the whole of March. And on Friday, it is, Dee?
It is Wear a Hat Day for Brain Tumour Research.
Yes.
So are we going to be wearing hats, girls?
Yes.
Well, yes.
I haven't got a hat, actually, but I'll find something that looks
darling,
like
I can make you a paper one. It's not a problem.
Or I can make you a real one.
Yes. I don't think
it just so happens I'm not next door.
Oh, true.
How grateful are you? How grateful are you now, darling?
Yeah, anyway, guys, we will see you on Friday.
Friday,
Get your hats ready. See you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.